Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Sports Talk with me, Rical. Of course, I reported that Robert Saleh was going to be fired this week. A lot of people went crazy, call it clickbait, whatever. I don't do that on this channel. But yes, they interviewed Mike Vrabel. They gauge. They had a 2-day event with Mike Vrabel. They had lunch with Mike Vrabel to gauge his interest on the Jets if the position was were to be open. They didn't say what we were firing Robert Saleh. They just said, hey, if the position were to be open, would you be interested? Which he was. He said he was. And then they invited him the next day for dinner, where he had a PowerPoint and showing all that stuff. Now the next man up, Brian Flores. Brian Flores was contacted this morning by the Jets organization he'll be interviewing with the Jets. He went in. They called the Minnesota Vikings for permission. The Minnesota Vikings gave permission to Brian Flores to interview with the Jets for the head coach position. Brian Flores did a great job with the Miami Dolphins. The owner, Stephen Ross wanted him to lose games so they could get the number 1 picks. And he was like, wait a minute, I want to win games. So the Dolphin owners, of course, Stephen Ross ended up firing him, and he sued the NFL, he sued the Miami Dolphins, and he won both cases, right? And they try to blackball him from being in the NFL, from getting head coaching job. You saw what happened with the if you don't know, with the New York Giants. The Giants were going to interview him because they needed the minority, so the Giants, they didn't want to break the Rooney rules, right? The Rooneys are the Pittsburgh Steelers owners. They don't want to push. The father push for team to not just bypass black coaches to make sure that to give black coaches a chance. The Rooneys are the Steelers owner are the reason why you see multiple black coaches in the NFL, because of them. They push for that. So Miami, the Giants. I'm sorry, the Giants. They knew they were hiring Brian Daboll. So, but they needed somebody for the Rooney Rule. So they decided to interview Brian Flores, and Bill Belichick knew that they interview him, and he knew that if this guy's coming your building to interview, there's no pass up on him, right? He sent Brian Flores a text message, congratulations, because he thought, hey, he got the job. And then after he sent him the congratulations, there was breaking news that the New York Giants have hired Brian Daboll as their head coach. And so all that stuff was collusion with the NFL, because the NFL didn't told the Giants to not hire, allegedly. The NFL told the Giants to not hire Flores because Stephen Ross allegedly didn't want that. So that's what I'm hearing. I don't know how true that is, but I'm gonna say allegedly on that. I was in the room, but anyway, Brian Flores did a great job, enough job with the Miami Dolphins, right? He did a great job there. He should not have been fired. He was fired because of Stephen Ross wanted him to lose, and he was like, well, listen, I'm not losing. We have an opportunity to win, and my team going to compete. So they did that. So because they did that, and they were winning games, so they decided, hey, we're going to fire this guy, which is what they did. They fired him because he was winning, which is crazy. So now you see him with the Vikings as the DC, the defensive coordinator with the Vikings, having an amazing time. The Vikings are 5-0, not just because of not just because of oh my God, Sam Darnold. The Vikings are 5-0, not just because of Sam Darnold. They're 5-0 because of Brian Flores' defense, because of the way he's playing lights out. He's making sure that the team's ready. The defense is, they're lights out defense all around, doing an amazing job there. So you gotta give credit to what he's doing. You gotta give credit to Brian Flores for that. So because of I'm playing with the Vikings, the scheme, they see what what it is. They decide, hey, the Jets organization really, yes, they want Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is the guy that they want, but Christopher Johnson want Mike Vrabel, right? Christopher Johnson want Mike Vrabel. Joe Douglas said, hey, let's give a look to Brian Flores. That defense, the player they have, to have a player like that to have a coach like that would look not just on defense, special team, and the guys that compete for him. I would love that. But so we'll see what happens, man. So Brian Flores, the Jets made a call to his camp for an interview to get his interest. He is interested. They called the Jets first. They called the Vikings to ask them permission to interview him. The Vikings, of course, reluctant, but they don't want to stop progress. They say okay, because it's not for this season. Because right now, Albrecht is the interim head coach for the New York Jets, so he's gonna stay there in that position. Now, if the Jets went out and the Jets win the Super Bowl, that would change. All this will be for nothing. Yeah, all that will be for nothing. But if they don't, either Brian Flores or Mike Vrabel, one of them will be the head coach for the New York Jets. But so the Jets just made it out, and this call they made to the Vikings for Brian Flores, it has nothing to do with for them to satisfy the Rooney Rule, because of course they have to interview a black personnel, black head coach for them to do that. They can't just hire Mike Vrabel. They have to interview. So this is not just that. They're really interested in also, and yes, they like Mike Vrabel, of course, right? But Joe Douglas and Christopher Johnson like Mike Vrabel. So is Woody Johnson. But Joe Douglas wants to keep his job. He's also looking at all the best candidates. And right now, what he's looking at right now, it's Brian Flores to be the head coach for the New York Jets. So they called the Vikings to gauge the interest, to give permission, reluctant like they were, but they give the Jets permission. The Jets contact his camp and to get his interest. He's interested, and they setting up his camp. They're gonna set up an interview with the Jets. So he's gonna set up for to interview with the Jets. So but of course, no hire can be made till after the season. But the Jets are hitting the ground running to get ready to set their sight on not just the players but the coaches that they want. They want to have the moment the season ended, that one of those guys, either Brian Flores or Mike Vrabel, one of those guys will be the head name. They'll be offered a position to be named the next head coach for the New York Jets. I'm super excited, man. Anyway, man, sports talk. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace out. Whoo-wee! Let's go. All I do on this channel is report facts.